Welcome back to CFP Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown. I got my guy, Mr. Get It Done, Dino. And when you see us on the screen together, you already know what time it is. It's time for that Devy Darling. Before we get into it, Dino, how we doing tonight, bud?
I'm doing great. I'm excited for this guy, our guy KT, pointing him out to us, and I've been watching him ever since. And this guy doesn't disappoint.
Oh no, like I said, I tell everybody, I had that text in the spring, and I don't understand it. Why ain't they giving him the ball? He don't drop nothing. And now here we are, week 7, and he's popped multiple times. And just this week, he had a game where I think everybody's starting to figure out or kind of wondering who is this Concepcion kid. So if you haven't figured it out by now, we're talking about North Carolina State freshman, wide receiver, Kevin Concepcion. He's 5'11", 180 pounds. He went to Julius L. Chambers High School out of Charlotte, North Carolina. He was number 8 player in North Carolina. He was number 50th wide receiver in the nation from Rivals. He was a 3-star prospect by both On3 ESPN and also 24/7 Sports, right? Uh, in the 2020 class, 24/7 Sports had him at 97th wide receiver. On3 had him at 91st. So he's right around that, that 90 to 100 bracket. Couple guys that were ranked around him, above him, that he's either beaten out or surpassed already. Jaden Skeet out of BC, who I'm familiar with, he was at 93. All right, Ski had a good spring, hasn't done anything since. Concepcion blown right by him. Omarion Miller, Colorado, he was the 37th wide receiver ranked in this class, and he just popped this past week. Concepcion is right by him. And Mikey Matthews, who a lot of people had a lot of hype about, he's had one game so far for Utah. He was a 34 ranked wide receiver in the class. Concepcion has smoked him. So, tell me a little bit about Concepcion and what he did over there at Julius Chambers.
So yeah, like you said, he went to Julius Chambers in Charlotte. His junior year, he caught 36 passes for 450 yards, 8 touchdowns, but he also returned 3 punts for touchdowns. And then his senior year, he caught 29 passes for 519 yards and 4 touchdowns. But he also got 17 carries on the ground for 156 yards and 2 touchdowns. But his senior year, he finished with a little over 1,000 all-purpose yards and averaged 35 yards per kick return, which is crazy.
Yeah, and like we said, you love the fact of the special teams. I know that's a huge aspect of the game, and I get it, because, hey, guy's doing whatever he can do to get on the field, right? Working however way to help his team. 34 yards per attempt. Like, got to be in good field position every time he touches the ball, whether it's offensively or on special teams. So I love it. We'll break down a couple attributes that I've seen, and then I'll pass it to my guy, and he can tell you what he saw on the screen. He's quick off the line of scrimmage, right? One step separation, he can get that done. He's got some twitch to him. He's not crazy twitch. He's not like Zay Flowers twitch, but I guess it's more of like a shiftier wide receiver, especially when he's in motion. I know it's going to sound cliche, but he's like poetry in motion. My man just knows his timing is great and when to get in and out of the break. He's a natural born slot receiver. I'm pretty sure this year, like I want to say 96, but it could be close to 97% in the slot. And this dude just does not disappoint. He's a pure playmaker. You see it. He just has a natural ability to find the ball. He's good at the stop and go, right? There's no delay. Like, he can do a boom and get up and go. He's got it down pat. He's got great body movement. Like I said, his neck, he can shake a DB with his head movement or safety. He's got that good control. So what are some of the things that you've seen, Dina, that you like about him?
Yeah, so like you said, his route timing is beautiful to watch. He runs the crisp routes.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, he's not afraid to run the routes over the middle to the heart of the defense, which I think is a lost trait by a
yeah,
lot of wide receivers. He is a yak monster because if he gets behind you, it's see ya. You're
yeah.
gonna be eating grass.
Maybe.
Um, exactly. He is QB proof. With he doesn't let the change from Armstrong to Morris. Uh,
Right.
it honestly might have helped him. We'll touch on that in a little bit, but he doesn't let that change affect his game, which I really liked.
Yeah, I'm with you there. He just seems to get better every single game, whether it's he's targeted or not targeted. And I think we both agree that the change at QB might have been because he wasn't getting targeted enough. But by the guy at the helm, and we've seen this one, the guy coming in knew who to target and who was the guy to go to. So we'll touch a little bit more on that later on. But I like everything I'm seeing. I saw an interview with him after the Virginia game, right? And just the way he was like talking about angles and stuff with defensive backs and how he's got to get better at that. And he's working at, like reading the angle that the DB's taking on him before you know he makes his next move. To me, that's a cerebral kid, right? And
Hmm.
he's 18 years old, right? He's a freshman and he's out there playing, and the way he's handling himself and speaking, I'm with it. I think this sky's the limit for this kid. Um, so let's just talk about a little bit. Let's get right into it with North Carolina State. I was a little high. It's 94.7% in the slot this year. So he's about 95%. He lives there. That's his game. All right. 6 games. He's got 47 targets, 31 receptions. He's only got 3 drops, people. So the miss, yeah, he was targeted. Might not have been around him. Might not have been a catchable ball. The man's only dropped 3 of them. But 347 yards so far, 4 touchdowns. He's got 11.2 yards per catch. Out of the 347, 220 yards after the catch. He also has 1 rush attempt for 6 yards. I told you, Nino said it. He's a yak monster. 220 yards. That's just dumb. Like it's more than like 3/4 of what he's got for total yardage. It comes after the catch. So he got that wiggle, and then next thing you know, you're just looking at his backside and he's gone. So
Yep.
tell me, bro, what were some of the things? What were some of the key games this week? What weeks did you like about him so far that he's kind of broke out?
Yeah, so week one, everyone got to see who really was against UConn. Small sample size. He had 5 targets, 4 receptions for 36 yards. He did though have 24
Right.
yak yards. And then week two against Notre Dame, big school, 11 targets, only 5 receptions for 24 yards. But he did have an A dot of 11.7. And then week three against VMI, he had 7 targets, caught every ball, 7 receptions, 62 yards, 47 yards of that yak.
That's crazy.
Uh, yeah. And then week four against Virginia, 9 targets, 6 receptions, finally cracked that 100 yards with 116 yards, 40 of it coming as yak, 2 touchdowns. He had an 80 PFF grade and an A dot of 13.7. And I think that's when people finally started to notice him.
Yeah.
Um, week five kind of took a little slip. Only 3 targets, 1 reception, 7 yards. But this week, when they inserted Morris at quarterback,
Yep.
I think, like you were saying, hey, this is our guy. We're going to ride him till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
15 targets, 8 receptions, 102 yards, 2 touchdowns, almost 13 yards per catch, a PFF grade of 91.5, and 88 of that 102 yards came after the catch, which just ridiculous.
Yeah. That's crazy. Like he was just a dude, and 91.5 PFF grade as a freshman, right? You know what I mean? Like, come
Yeah.
on. Like,
Yeah, yeah, that's like for neighbors or
yeah, yeah,
birding or
yeah,
those guys.
exactly. Top dogs. He's putting himself in that category. I like it. They needed him to perform in this game, and I think he stepped up to the call. Like I said, Marshall's not the biggest competition, but they had the QB switch. They needed him to be a
Mhm.
dude. He was a dude. He carried it for them. And when Marshall did score because they were putting up points in this one, he was the guy that kind of went to right away, whether it was for a big play or a touchdown or whatever it was. He was the guy. So I watched a little bit of that again today before we came on, and they found a way to scheme the play for him. He gets open on his
Mhm.
own. He doesn't need to be schemed open. All right, if you watch the show enough, you know what time it is. It's time for me and Dino to give our player comps for this one, and this is a funny one, okay? Because I sent my man a doc, and he sent me a text saying, "Yo, who's your player comp? Because I just want to make sure we don't have the same one. We didn't have the same one. Had the same team, uh, which means that my guy and myself, we're locked in. Bro. We see things the same way. Um, so without further ado, I got Dougie Baldwin as a comp out of Seattle, and Dino, take it away.
So my comp is Tyler Lockett, but then as I was watching more film, I think I could also throw in another comp of Randall Cobb as well.
Yeah, I think he's a little faster than Cobb.
Yeah, I'm like just the precision of his routes,
Yes,
the mentality aspect of it too
yeah. The
was a
thing with
lot more Cobb
I
for
tell
me.
everybody, to me, Cobb is like a gremlin, right? Like he was good, like that 15 and under yard, like
Hmm.
route, he would kill you, especially the cross route. Like he just found a
Yeah,
way to creep through traffic and get the extra yards. But Concepcion, he can do that. He did that just last week alone against Marshall.
yeah,
I just like the way Dougie played. Like Dougie was underrated, right? Like we talked about. I've told you in the green room. I
yep,
felt like he did the Odell before Odell did the Odell, right? But they don't talk about it, because it's Doug Baldwin.
yeah,
But he was just a guy. Like he knew he could smoke you at the lines. I seen him straight embarrass people in the red zone at the line of scrimmage off one move. He just does like a Euro step to the left, and he's got like 3 feet of separation. You couldn't catch him if you tried. So
yep,
I don't know if Concepcion's got that type of separation yet, but like I said, he's 18, and what I'm seeing,
right.
it seems like the sky's the limit. Dino, you got anything else you want to say before we wrap this one up?
No, I think we nailed it right on the head.
Yeah, we got a special one for me because I've been seeing him live for the past couple of weeks. Next week we'll be breaking down Thomas Castellanos, BCQB. He leads the nation in quarterback rush yards, 500 plus. Is he a Devy Darling? Is he not a Devy Darling? Is he just a flash in the pan? Stay tuned because next week, myself, Mr. Get It Done, we're breaking it down again here on Devy Nowlands on the CFB Nation. We out.